Alright, how's it going, guys? I figured I'd go ahead and show you how to do the template scene, since that is one of the things I'm sure y'all are really curious about. Whenever you create a template scene, we are going to be using the Unity editor, so we'll have to type that in. And on top of that, we're actually going to be using the scene management. And if you hear the dog in the background, I am terribly sorry about that. So we're going to say using Unity engine. It'd help if I did a space. Unity engine dot scene management, and we're also going to be using Unity editor dot scene management. The reason why we're using the Unity editor scene management is because we're actually going to modify the way that Unity is set up for us to be able to create these template scenes. If y'all have seen my tutorials before, you know I always delete all the crap out of the middle. So the first thing we're going to need, let me think about this for a second. Well, we're going to need a new scene name. So let me go ahead and type in, instead of doing a private or anything like that, I'm actually going to do what's called a protected, and this will be a string. In the string, I'll go ahead and set the variable name for new scene name. Let's see. We're also going to have to call the GUI content, because I'm actually wanting something to pop up here. So let me go ahead and do a protected, and this will actually be a read only. This will be GUI content, and this will be name content. If I can spell tonight, that'd be just awesome. We're actually going to have this equal new GUI content, and we're going to call it new scene name. So now we're going to go ahead and create the menu item up here. So we need to put this in brackets, and we're going to call this menu item. And we're going to have this set up. We don't have a tools up here, so do we want tools? I'm just actually going to call this scene. Oh, we can't call it scene because that's already in here. So yeah, we'll just do tools. Oh wait, it needs to be a string. New scene. Let's go ahead and just call it new scene. Create. Not caves. What am I thinking? I want to do lively forest because that's the name of this right here, which is lively forest template scene. And let's go ahead and add on there this, so we're good. Let's see, the next thing we're going to want, well, we need to be able to show the window whenever we click on it, so let's go ahead and type that in public static void, and we'll call this show window. Inside of show window, I don't know why I hit enter twice, no biggie though. Inside of show window, we're going to say new, let's see, this is going to be, it's actually going to be the name of it, so it should be lively forest template scene window, and that will equal get window, and this will be lively forest template, and do that, and then we'll do window dot show. I think that's right. Now, what am I missing? Show? I think? Maybe? I'll figure that out here in a second. I'm sure it's something simple I'm missing. So we're going to do an on GUI. And for this, we're going to say new scene name will equal editor GUI layout. And that will be a text field. And that will be name content new scene name. And we want to say if, and that would be a GUI layout. From there we'll say dot button, because we're going to want to use a button for creating the new scene, so we'll say create, no, it needs to be a string, Jimmy, come on. This will be create lively forest scene. And then we'll say see, what do I want? I'm gonna have to create a method group here, so we'll do that for now. So what do I want to call this? I know it needs to be protected, and it's going to be a void because it is a method group. Let's go ahead and say create new scene. So that's what we'll call this. Just like that. Man, this is bugging me. I don't know why it is like that. It doesn't really matter. So what we need to do is inside the create new scene, we need to make sure that it is not running when we try to create a scene. So I'm going to go ahead and set that up. And we actually need to do an if statement for editor application dot is plain. So if we are running the game inside the Unity application, we'll go ahead and do a debug.log. You know what? I'm going to do an error. And we'll just say create scene while in play mode. Exclamation mark. Gotta have the exclamation mark, because why not? And then we'll just do a simple return. Let's see, I'm gonna need more in here. Let me think. Trying to think of what else I really need to add in here. I know I'm gonna need more in here. For now, I don't really need this return because I'm not doing a whole lot. What is your deal, dog? We do need to go ahead and create a create scene method group. I'll deal with this here in just a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and do another protected void, and this will be called create scene. And in here, we're going to do a string, and this will be an array with a result. The reason why this needs to be an array is because when each time we create a new scene, we need to increment it. Asset something, asset, come on Jimmy, what is it? Asset database question mark dot find, there it is. Sweet. And as what we're going to want to do is this is going to be, when it creates this template scene, we want to be able to pull up from a template scene we already have made. So we'll just call this Lively Forest Template. So now let's see, the next thing we need to do is we need to make sure that the length is greater than 0, because we'll need to do a check for that. So let's go ahead and do if result.length is greater than 0, then is what we want to do. Let's see, we'll need to do something. We need to check the scene path first, so let's go ahead and do that. And this will be a string type, which will be new scene path. That's going to equal assets plus scenes, and then we'll call it by its new scene name, which we will actually call up here. So ideally is what I want is I want whenever this pops up you can just type in whatever scene you're working with. In this case it would be Lively Forest L1, and then this would actually be .unity, and that should be good. Next thing we need to do is we actually need to copy from the asset database. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. And this will be .copy asset. The asset we're going to copy will be asset database .GUI asset path, maybe, possibly. Result, and that will be 0 because that's where we start, if I remember correctly. And then this will just be new scene path. Let's see, what else are we going to need for this? Well, we need to refresh it, so let's go ahead and do that. So we'll say asset database dot refresh. Let's see. What else? What else? What else? Oh, we need to do the new scene. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So we'll say scene, and this will be new scene, and that will equal editor scene manager. No, not create scene. We want to open scene. There we go. This will be new scene path and open scene mode. Dot single, I think? Yes, dot single. Woohoo, I remembered. See, is there anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Oh, one thing we're going to want is each time we create a new scene, we don't want to have to keep adding that scene to the build settings. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll say add scene to, if I can spell right, add scene to build settings, and we'll do the new scene. Now this is red under here. I'm actually going to change that here in just a minute. And so let's go ahead and create a new method group for this little guy right here. So we're going to say we need another protected void, and this will be add scene to build settings. And this will take in the scene, and the name of our variable will just be scene. Easy. And so from here is what we're going to do is, let me think about this for just a second, because is what we want to do. Let's see. Well, we're going to need to go into the build settings scene, so we know that. So let's go ahead and do that. Editor build settings scene. This will be an array, and it'll be build scenes, and that will equal editor editor build settings dot scenes. Okay, and then we'll need to increment the length of it since we are adding it, so let's go ahead and do that. Editor build settings scene array, and this will be new build scenes, and that will be a new editor build settings scene, and we'll say build scenes dot length, and they'll always be incremented by 1. We're going to need a for loop for these, so let's go ahead and do that real quick. So we'll say for int I equals 0, and we are actually checking for the new build scenes dot length. If I can spell length correctly, then will be I++. Really? Okay, there we go. Okay, so what we'll do from there is we'll say new build scenes I, and that will equal build scenes I. Yay! Let's see, what else? Oh! New build scenes. And we're going to actually have build scenes dot length now equal new editor build settings scenes, and this will be scene dot path, and it will be true. Let's see, what else? I know I'm missing something. Give me a second, guys. Oh, we still need to add it to the new build scene. Duh. So we'll say editor build settings scenes, and this will be new build scenes. Let's see, what else? I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'm missing. Oh, wait, yes. So we're able to create the scenes, but it's not instantiating anything. So let's go ahead and do one more protected, and this will actually be game object. Instantiate. Where is instantiate? instantiate prefab? Question mark? Yes, awesome. And this will be string, which will be folder path, and then this will be string prefab name. Easy. Swirly brackets. Yay. And then we want to say game object instance equals null, and we'll do string, make an array, prefab, no, folder path equals folder path. I think that's right. And then we need, let's see, well, we have that, but we still haven't done the GUID, so let's go ahead and do that. String, and this will equal set database dot find assets. We'll need to find the prefab name and the prefab folder path. And let's go ahead and if dot length equals 0, then is what we'll do is send an error, bug.log error. We're going to say the prefab name could not be found in folder path. Annually. Let's see, what else? Let's go ahead and do an else in case it's greater than 1. And we were going to say, it helps if I add a semicolon, just saying. Let's see. I'm actually just going to copy this up here. There we go. But this one's actually needs to be different. Just say multiple prefabs, okay, and then else string path equals set database dot asset path. We need the array of 0. And then we don't need to do the game object prefab, and that will equal asset database dot load all asset. No, it should just be load asset at path, I believe, and that will be the game object, and then the path that is being loaded from. We'll say instance equals instantiate prefab. Turn instance. And this should be, yeah, there we go. Awesome. So let's see, I still have a couple of errors. We have these right here. Let me think, where did I mess up at? Oh, because we're deriving from mono behavior. We don't want to be doing that. We actually want to be deriving from the editor window. That should just be one word. There we go. That's done. So let's see where this other error is at. Oh, we still need a return. Of course, of course, of course. Okay, so for the create new scene, after the message that we have, we actually need to say return. And we actually need to say scene current active scene equals scene manager dot get active scene, I think. Okay, well, we don't have any errors, so that's a plus. Whew. So if we come back in here, we should see a new thing pop up. Please pop up. Yay! New scene! It's working! Oh, it's kind of working. So what we need to do now is we said create new scene. Why do I have two visual scripts open? Oh, Evil Unknown. That's why. Okay, let me just close that one out. So we have two scenes, not scenes. We need to create a new scene. So the thing is that we can't just create a Lively Forest scene. Reason why? Because there's nothing for it to look up. We actually need to find the Lively Forest template. So if we just try to click on Create Lively Forest, we'll see that we have this, and we'll just call this something, and then Create Lively Forest. But as you can see, nothing happens. And the reason why, because we don't have anything telling where the scene is. So do I want to pause it? Let's see, it's only at 21 minutes. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pause it. I'm gonna go ahead and create these folders real quick, and then I'll pick back up on the video here in just a minute. Alright, so I had some issues with the script, so I had to kind of modify it a little bit. Inside the script, you'll notice that I have added a couple extra things. So we're checking to see if it's dirty. We're checking to see if it was modified. And I've also added it where basically if there's an issue with it, it'll say the template scene was not found. The scene is required by the new scene creator. So I went ahead and added that. I also went ahead and added the Lively Forest template scene. So this is what scene should pop up each time I start it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Scenes, Sample Scene. So now I'm in this new scene right here. So what should happen is I should be able to hit Create Lively Forest. I'm just going to call this Test Scene 01. We're going to hit Create Lively Forest, and bam, there it is, Test Scene 01. So I tested earlier. It did not add it in here, which kind of sucks because that means we'll actually have to add this in the editor. So I will have to try and figure out why that's not working. But as you can see, I quickly created a scene like it was nothing. Let me go ahead and create another one, and this will be Test Scene 02. Create Scene, and as you can see, we're now in 02. Go into Assets. Here's the Test Scene 01, and here's Test Scene 02. So it is working. It's just not placing them where I want them to be, which would be in here. Ooh, we have an array exception. Okay, that's why. That is why it's not adding to the build settings. So I screwed something up in there, which I'll have to try and figure out. But that's why it's not adding it to the build settings, because I messed up on something real simple. So that's how easy it's going to be to do this capstone. And so we have Scene 02. Let's say this was an object that actually needed to be moved over here. This object needed to be moved over here. This one needed to be moved up here. We can simply save it. And so we have Test Scene 1, which is different. And we have Test Scene 2, which the objects are spaced out differently. And essentially we're going to have the same 3D backgrounds. But let's say if these were chests or something, these need to be locked, or the player has to interact with these to access these. We can simply move things around. We can move the platforms around for the player to interact with, such as like jumping on, things like that. We can move the enemies to different locations. So this is how we're going to set it up for us to make levels very quickly and very easily. This is what I was talking about inside my presentation video for those of you that have watched it, and I thank you for that. And the stuff that you saw me doing, that is development code. I will not expect y'all to do that. And the dog keeps jumping up on me. I don't know why. But I won't expect you to do development code. Really, dog? Anyways, I won't expect you to do development code, because that does get a little complex. You could see I was kind of struggling with it, because I'm not super familiar with it, but I'm okay with it, I think. As far as scripting, that'll be something I'll have a lot of y'all doing. And if you struggle with it, don't hesitate to ask for help or anything like that. I'm more than happy to teach y'all. The next little lesson I throw on here will actually be setting up the URP for both 3D objects and for sprites. So I'll see you next time.